Hello everyone. In this lesson, we're going to be learning grammar to really boost our writing and help us to describe and report trends, specifically for charts, graphs, and tables questions in IELTS Writing Task 1. So, for many Task 1 questions, you will need to describe trends for charts, graphs, and tables. In fact, any question type that has charts, graphs, and tables as the visual information, I can guarantee that you will need to describe the trends in the data. So, what exactly are trends? Well, here is a pretty standard line graph showing types of sweeteners eaten in some country over many years. The trends are how the data changes over time. Does it increase? Does it rocket up? Or does it decrease? Does it plummet? Or does it stay the same? Can you compare two sets of data and their trends? So we're going to be looking at all this kind of language for describing trends and increases and decreases of data in this grammar lesson. So here is an example on the line graph. We can see the total kind of moves up and down a little bit, but generally stays around the same value. Let's read an example sentence here. The total consumption of sweeteners plateaus from 1966 to around 1986, with only some changes. So there I am describing the trend of the data over time. I'm saying there aren't really any big changes between 1966 and 1986. Let's move further along this piece of data, the total data value that we have from 1986 onwards. So here is the arrow on the line graph, and let's read our example sentence. Then there was a steady rise in the increase in use from 1986 to 1999. So really these two sentences link very nicely, and I've described 2/3 of the whole data for this line in green total. And quite simply, I'm describing the trend of the data over time. So for trends and increases and decreases, there are really two main grammatical structures that we can use, and I'm going to show you in this lesson. So up first we have there was a plus adjective plus verb plus in noun phrase, whatever that may be, in sweeteners, in car use, in food consumption, a noun phrase. Let's take a look at an example. There was a massive fall in subscribers over the 3-year period, and in blue I have my time period here. Let's see another example. There was a huge increase in petrol prices from 1992 to 2001. Okay, so again, there was a adjective, verb, and a noun phrase. And here I'm following up with my preposition of time over the 3-year period, or from 1992 to 2001. So that is one grammatical structure, and it's great for describing trends over time. For increases and decreases, this works great. A noun phrase plus verb plus adverb. So let's see an example. People watching television rose quickly from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And here, hospital attendances for 16 to 20 years old dropped moderately in 2009. So another way that we can describe trends and increases and decreases. So two structures that you should really practice using. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the vocabulary we can use in these grammatical structures in terms of language and the range of vocabulary for adjectives, verbs, and adverbs. So here is the two structures, and let's take a look at a list of vocabulary we could use. For adjectives, slow, steady, moderate, gradual. Moving more into increases, slight, significant, quick, sharp, and rapid. And here we have some verbs, starting at the very bottom, a big decrease, sank, plunged, drop, and fell. Moving into increases again, grew, increase, rose, surged, and rocketed. And finally, some adverbs, again starting at slow or small changes. Slowly, steadily, moderately, gradually. And moving more into bigger changes or bigger impact on the verb, slightly, quickly, sharply, and rapidly. So you may want to bookmark this particular part of the video lesson and begin practicing using these structures as much as you can. But I also have more examples to show you against previous Task 1 questions. So here are some examples for describing trends using this structure here. And here we have a table. So it seems to be showing problem areas in two schools by percent over a 2-year period. 2015 and 2017. So let's begin here with listening skills in School A. Listening skills in School A. So in 2015, 35% had a problem with listening skills, whereas in 2017, that number dropped. So let's take a look. There was a large drop in listening skills at School A from 2015 to 2017. Okay, and next up we have, there was a large drop in listening skills at School A from 2015 to 2017. Whereas, so we're comparing now, School B increased slightly from 11 to 12 over the two different years. So we can see that in the first example, we've just used a simple sentence structure, one piece of information. In the second sentence, we've used the conjunction, the linking word whereas to compare, as well as describe trends. So a really nice piece of writing there. Okay, let's take a look at another example. Here we have a line graph over X amount of years showing the recycling rate for 4 different materials. So we're still using the same structure. And let's go to paper and cardboard from 1994. There was a steady decline in paper and cardboard recycling from 1994 onwards to 2010. So we can see that from 1994 to 2010, paper and cardboard steadily declines. And let's take a look at plastics, which actually begins later than the other data given in the line graph. It begins in 1990. Plastic recycling began in 1990, where there was a slow and steady increase in recycling up to 2010. So a slight variation on the structure and a really great example of describing trends. So let's move on to describing increases and decreases. Again, we'll add a preposition of time, so that in blue, the time period. So we will use this structure, noun phrase plus verb plus adverb. And here is a pie chart of online sales for different retail sectors in Canada over 2 different years, 2005 and 2010. So we'll begin here with food and beverage. Food and beverages rose sharply by 10% from 2005 to 2010. So I've added an amount by 10% and the preposition of time from 2005 to 2010. Here is another example. In blue, the electronics and appliance figure, which drops by 5%. Electronics and appliances dropped moderately over the 5-year period by a total of 5%. Okay, so another way of describing trends, increases and decreases. And you're going to need to show a range of structures to really get to those higher band scores in IELTS Writing Task 1 and Task 2 as well. Okay, so over to you. Here is a practice activity. I'd like you to write a short report, a sentence, possibly 2 sentences on the graph below, and use the structures taught in this lesson. So it's the same pie chart that we looked at just a moment ago. And here are the 2 structures to use. Of course, you can add the time phrase, that preposition of time as well, if you would like a challenge. So go to the Q&A section and show me a sentence, 2 sentences, describing the trends that you see on the pie chart here. That wraps up this lesson on grammar for IELTS Task 1 on describing trends. I look forward to seeing your writing in the Q&A section.